Nice and English for your bitch ass. Oh, welcome back, you dirties. With the
most
one and
ridiculous
only
entry music.
fucking AC's in the
We
house.
do have to give since we are using this, we had a quick shout out to who is this guy?
Yeah,
Producer Smurf
Smurf,
on YouTube.
Papa Smurf.
Give him a follow if you dig any of this music listening to right now. It's
Dude,
basically like
It feels like Perez's music, but slightly hood rat. Like
yeah.
They dealt like a couple lines.
You know
of
what the
coke.
title of this music is right now? It's Mozart Drill Remix.
Mm.
So, have you heard of drill? In like
No,
the like
what the fuck is that?
it's a specific type of. Okay, well you know what trap is, obviously.
Of course.
So okay, basically what trap is to the U.S., drill.
But it's like the more I dig into
The more
it,
you
the
decide
more
to
I
educate
like
yourself,
it. Yeah, the more I like it.
yeah.
We're AC'd up in this bitch this
Oh,
time.
it's so cool in here.
So cool.
Little
like,
oh, you actually can't even see it right now
You can't even see
your
it.
arm's covering it up a bit.
goddamn fucking shoulders.
Oh,
Man.
okay.
Fucking Nutter boy. Fuck all that. Billie Jean Cosby's out. Billie Jean Cosby. We're
Pretty
gonna.
sure you fucked that up pretty bad.
What do you mean? I know his name's not Gene, bro. Of
Maybe you
course.
think it is.
I no.
Maybe you
of
think his
course
name's
not,
Billy.
man. Dude, it's Bill Cosby. I know, but I like to call him Billy Cosby,
Alright, sure.
man. Because we
Nice. Okay.
see. Come on, son.
Hey,
Yo.
Dr. Evil, what's going on? Actually, before we get into this, are you okay with Dr. We can call you whatever the fuck we
Dude,
want.
Dr. Evil, it is.
No,
Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up. He
you
doesn't.
can call me whatever. I don't
All
know.
right.
No, it has to be Dr.
Just
Evil.
not my name, I guess.
No, Dr. Evil it is. So, Dr. Evil, we're talking about all this shit. Let's start off with the major one. Billy Cosby is out. I know you don't like talking about these non-factual things or
You're gonna say
factual
factual
things,
things?
but
Fucking retard.
are you gonna watch his? Are you gonna watch his next? What is he gonna come up with?
Who gives a fuck? Did you watch his old things?
No,
No, you didn't.
no.
So like, what? This doesn't
No,
matter to
no.
us. I mean,
The
jeez.
thing is, with Cosby, like, how do you feel about that though? Do
Oh,
you
just
feel
like the idea of him like being out.
yeah,
Well, turned into a plea agreement
right.
because he had basically already had an agreement before he got into this trial saying, "I'll help you out on another case if you guys, let me go," kind of deal. And so that's what I saw when the news broke last week. But that was fresh because there's like the news articles that I was reading that were like barely like a page long because
Right.
it was just like breaking news. So then like, oh, because of a previous agreement, then this is why this judge overturned it. I don't know if Dark Evil you heard otherwise.
Fuck all that. Listen, do you think he should be out? I personally think he's fucking 83 years old and he's fucking blind. So what? Like, it's almost the same. Like, he's gonna go straight to a senior home, or what the fuck is he gonna do? Basically,
I
right
think
now?
he's okay to not go into senior home.
No. I know that, but like, is he okay to like? If you're blind, you got to take it as face value.
Sure.
If you're fucking blind and you're 83 years old, where are you gonna go?
No, now you're fucked.
Bro,
What the fuck? Are you
listen.
like...
Listen,
That is literally what a statute of
Listen.
limitations...
when you're
implies.
60-40 on fucking 1,200 milligrams of shrooms, you're flying, dude. That's all I gotta say. But I just don't think the guy is gonna actually. He's not gonna in society in big picture wise. He's not really gonna affect it whether he's out or not. It's not really like, he's a serial killer type of thing. It's not like he even has like the capabilities to like roofie anybody. Who's gonna go up to fucking Cosby now and get roofied? Like nobody, basically. At this point, everybody stays well aware from him.
Now you get into a whole other argument. I'm just trying to confirm
Yeah.
why he got released this time.
I think it's a civil case, no?
No, yeah, if you wanted to reach... I guess, yeah, if you wanted to go after him, if you were like a victim or something, it'd have to be civil.
And I heard he's trying to get money now.
Probably.
He's trying to get money back. So
I mean, you
about
have to leave. I don't know about his case in particular, but you have to leave open the possibility that someone is potentially innocent. It sounds like here he's probably not, but Hector, you remember I kind of mentioned you have some of these stories where people get charged with something.
Yeah,
like this,
that's like a
and
whole other thing. I just wanted to
you're
quick...
basically smeared for life.
It's
online,
oh yeah,
for
it's not like he's
conviction.
getting like a stand-up comedy show from Netflix after this. It's done.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's
uh,
what he's looking
That's
at
a bit
this
scary.
this time. I think what he's looking at is like just straight freedom. How many years does he have
Well, no,
left?
here I pulled it up like what
Pull
I
it
read
up.
the last time. So this is just a quick summary from the New York Times, and this is they released this when the story actually broke, so there's no like additional follow up or anything. So take that as you will. But it says here, Mr. Cosby had served 3 years of a 3 to 10 year sentence at a maximum security prison outside Philadelphia when the court ruled that a quote non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor meant that Mr. Cosby should not have been charged in the case. So that's what I read, that there was already basically an agreement
that he shouldn't be charged.
Exactly. So it wasn't so much that
he won
whether
the case.
whether he's innocent or not, or
Yeah,
like
it doesn't matter.
It's not even talking about that.
That's crazy how he got away with the technicality like that.
It's not really technicality. That's basically like most of these like it's like when these mafia guys say like, yeah, it's like WITPRO basically is what that's. Imagine like you doing WITPRO and then you not actually getting the pro of that whole WITPRO.
Rough.
Like you just get fucked. So that's kind of what this is about, and that's interesting. So it took this long to figure out 3 years later that there was an existing agreement.
So is he not supposed to have served any time?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically he's gonna probably get money back.
I think so. Yeah, he might. Yeah, he might. He'll have to go back for it. And
it sounds ridiculous because if you think about it, like any of us did that, I doubt that we'd get these kind of judgments thrown at us. You know, I think we'd get locked up for life, especially if you're.
It's interesting because
it's a miss. It's like a hit and miss.
I want to follow this one and see what happens when details kind of develop. Yeah, as time goes on, because that's a very like vague way of saying whatever the fuck happened, because they're just like there's barely any words here. The court ruled that a non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor meant that Mr. Cosby should not have been charged in the case. What the fuck was said just there? Like nothing.
So it's just basically saying
all the no details there at all. It's basically saying there was an agreement. That's it. But
did the judge get like a Mercedes or what the fuck happened?
Honestly, I don't know. Was the judge maybe the judge was on shrooms when they fucking read that shit out?
Bro, this sounds like
it sounds like something you would
like
100%, right?
I would do something like this.
Anyways,
yeah.
But I'm gonna be curious to see how this kind of continues as time goes on, because right now nothing has really been said.
So Dr. Evil hopping from fucking roofies to other roofies for the mind and the Alzheimer. We were talking about that Alzheimer drug that came from Biogen. I looked with the small amounts of fucking caterpillars I have in my eyes at some of these
cataracts or caterpillars.
Whatever, dude.
What do you say?
Any of the cat names. Okay, that has to do with my eye. Retinas, all that. Throw all that in there.
Oh god,
it's like a fucking stew.
Your brain is stew at this
Yeah,
point.
it's stew. It's mush. So basically, I looked at some of the articles. And you might want to jump in here and there, but basically, it's kind of like you said when we were talking earlier today, how that it's not really effective. So why would they pass this? Like, why would they pass a drug that is supposed to just be effective for Alzheimer's, but it's actually not effective and it has a bunch of side effects? But now it's going to go down as like you said, it's going to be like the second most bought drug, I guess.
There's I'll get a little bit technical here, but it'll explain potentially their reasoning for why they passed it.
Might have to interrupt you to explain some things, but go ahead.
I'll keep it really short, the technical part. It's just there's several different theories out there right now for what is causing Alzheimer's disease. And those theories are looking at different target proteins in the brain that kind of they build up in the process of someone developing this disease.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of this drug, they're looking at a protein called amyloid beta. And if you do take this drug, it does actually reduce that protein. So it reduces the formation of it.
So this is a good thing. This is what you want.
Well, that's the issue, because they'll say, okay, well, it does reduce the formation of this protein, but can we say for sure
the formation of this protein directly correlates to Alzheimer's?
Yeah, and that's the problem. So they say that there isn't that hasn't definitively been proved, and so it shouldn't have been approved as a medication.
Interesting.
So nonetheless, they did approve it.
So what kind of studies do they have behind this, like as far as like actual use and results and research behind it? Is it like very far depth, or is it just kind of like early trials?
No, so this was because if you look at clinical trials, there's 3 phases.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have to continue to monitor.
Yeah.
There's sort of a phase 4 later on where it's actually already being administered to people, and if this turns out to be toxic in the long term, they're obviously gonna pull it off the market. But I mentioned also there's already some serious side effects that if you take this, about 40% of patients.
Jesus, 40, dude.
Cerebral Yeah, so cerebral edema, which is technical term for brain swelling, and
Hmm.
that itself can be lethal.
Right.
That's like the real
Um,
mush brain.
yeah, so
You might be going through that right now, my guy.
Dude, I might be going through that without this. Just
Yeah, I
without
mean,
this.
How
you're
how
already kind of in dire straits if you're considering taking this medication.
how new is this drug? Is this literally just
Well,
This
the
is lit-
target's not new. I mean, they've been
What do you
targeting
mean
that protein
target?
for a long time.
Like as
So
far as the research they're trying to do for the specific drug, like the scope is not new.
the strategy, you can think of it
okay?
like that.
Okay.
The strategy isn't new. They've developed and it's an antibody here that targets this protein, and for one reason or another, it's not actually clear why they approved it
Right.
because it doesn't meet the parameters um, for relieving the disease. It just meets parameters for reducing this particular protein. And then that's why you had people from some of these advisory councils for the FDA actually resigning. And there's a ton
Really?
of controversy
When
around
wa-
this. Yeah, it's pretty serious.
When
I
was
mean, the
this?
other big thing is this is the beginning of June,
Oh
so it's
shit!
very recent.
Wow.
The other thing here that's kind of a moral conundrum is this is potentially going to be the biggest selling drug of all time. Maybe the second biggest. The biggest is
Ins-
Viagra, right?
I was gonna say like
Cialis.
insulin maybe. Okay.
Yeah, which tells you something about like the human race, I guess.
Yeah.
We need our dicks hard, bro. That's exactly
Yeah,
what
but
it is.
I think I remember sort of the figures. They said something like they intend to charge about $56,000 a year for treatment for this
Right.
per
Jesus.
person, and there's about I don't know how many million, but they said if about 5% of the people with Alzheimer's were to take this, they'd still sell in tens of billions of dollars a year,
Fucking Christ.
Jesus
which
Christ.
is an insane amount. I mean, here this will give you some context. The biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world do about 50 billion a year in revenue.
Yeah.
So that's like Pfizer, Roche, um, Johnson and Johnson, those types of companies. So
Fucking
here you have a single drug now. I mean, most of these companies, they have tons of drugs that they sell.
Yeah.
You have a single drug that's going to come onto the market that by itself could easily do 20 billion.
Who is
if not a lot
who's
more.
behind this drug right now?
Biogen. It's
And
a U.S. pharmaceutical.
Are they a major player?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not the biggest. The biggest, I think, right now is Roche.
I mean,
which is
this
a
this
Swiss
would put them
company.
up there, man, with like 20.
Oh
you know.
yeah. Well, this would probably put them past.
Well, hold
Roche,
on.
I would
If
guess.
they're making it, wouldn't that instantly like play in their favor? Because they're making it, no?
Well, they'd be selling it. They're selling it. Yeah.
Right, so
they-
it's
Yeah.
like
they reap the rewards.
yeah, exactly.
But here's the other fuckery here. You have a bunch of other companies now who've basically seen that the FDA is willing to approve this, and now they're pushing their candidates that sometimes even previously failed to get approval. But now you have a new precedence that was set. They've essentially said we're willing to approve a drug that doesn't meet parameters that you would expect the FDA to
How is this
require for
happening?
something.
Like,
that's
how
what I'm
how
saying.
does that
This
get?
is,
Are people being paid off,
maybe
or like
people
what's
are
the
super
deal?
disappointed.
Because like
It's
people are
making the field
resigning.
a
Like
little bit
sounds
murky.
kind of fucking fishy.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. I mean, in some ways it'll stimulate funding for that field.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
We're kind of in that field, neurodegeneration, but also it might have a opposite effect where
Are you guys working on something
imagine in
similar
2
to
years
this
they
or no?
decide to pull this from the market.
Yeah.
We target. There's another protein called tau. So the one I mentioned earlier is amyloid beta, and then this other strategy is targeting a protein called tau and aggregation of that. That is also not proven to actually resolve the disease.
So what are you guys doing, bro?
Well,
What are you
here's the thing.
guys fucking
Here's one of the arguments for why this got approved. Like neurodegeneration as a field,
Yeah.
Alzheimer's disease, fucking graveyard of projects.
Oh Jesus.
Vast majority of stuff that's ton of funding, billions and billions of dollars
Oh,
of funding, all these
man.
dead end projects. So
Fuck.
they're thinking that's maybe part of the reason that they put this
Yo,
through. It's been
let's-
like 20 years with no approval.
So
Yeah.
nobody's in charge of like where this funding is going. They're nothing's promising, but they're still just funding.
They're just
It's a tough field to be in. Yeah.
dude. This is like
most
a
of the
fuck.
money goes to most of the money not only does it mostly go to oncology, but you have successful projects in oncology.
Right.
Yo, somebody's
So
got to
this is
talk to
kinda
Uncle Sam,
clusterfuck.
bro. Somebody's got to talk to this guy. Whoever's funding this
I mean,
shit.
it's making it interesting at least.
Yeah, no
it's
kidding.
kind of
That's
bad
for sure, but it's
publicity.
like I think you guys are just like picking fucking which fucking peptide or which fucking protein to do. Literally,
Well,
it's like hopscotch.
I feel like it's a bit more involved than that.
No,
Okay.
but generally,
it's
I
not
feel like-
understood how this works, how the disease is developed. What's the cause behind it? They don't
Yeah.
I didn't know we're that far away though. It seems like we are. It seems like this.
Well, you have a number of these: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's. These are your major neurodegenerative diseases that
We're
a
gonna get
large
another one
portion of
called
the population. Like, we will
Ugbaшлus.
probably get this
We're gonna Ugbaшлus.
at some point. These are dementia.
No, dude. This is I think Alzheimer's a lot to do with genetics, man. Like if it runs in the family.
How long have you been recording? 22 minutes. How long have you been on the call? 15 minutes. All right. Anyone who's keeping track is about 15 minutes. Yeah, that is pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah.
To go 15 minutes without having to bring up genetics, not fucking bad.
That's not bad.
Not fucking bad.
But yeah, I think
I mean, he's got a point though. Yeah, that's
It's
probably
true.
a pretty large genetic component.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it runs in my family. The only thing that runs in my family is fat asses.
You mean
I think.
Would
I
you
think
mean that
with
they don't run?
Huntington's in particular, they can tell you if you're gonna get it
right?
with a high confidence based on your.
It'd
DNA.
be very interesting. You know what? It'd actually be a cool collab at one point.
What?
I'm not doing this to Armand, Dr. Evil, having Dr. Evil on the call while also having our friends from STEM Chocolates at the same time, because their whole thing is about neuroplasticity and how that shit actually helps,
Yeah.
and neurogenesis and like that whole like field. But
Yeah,
our boy
I'm
here
kind of
is
a proponent of that too. Actually.
yeah, our boy here is going at it from like a very like scientific point of view, from the other end of things, because they're taking something that already exists and seeing like what applications they
Right.
have for your brain, versus what
Seeing the actual chemical side of
Well,
it would
you know,
be
well, yeah,
interesting.
well, yeah, and not only that, but coming
Explain.
at it from the other direction, in terms of like the pathway, because you have a finished product right there,
Yeah.
and it's like, can this help us with this? Versus what Dr. Evil's doing is like, okay, here's the actual thing. Can we find something eventually that will actually help it?
Right.
So
Right.
be-
It's actually Dr. Evil brought it up. If you had to like give advice to yourself when you were like, what's like an amazing age that if you get like the perfect advice, it might actually like be a flip of a coin perfect thing for you. You know what I mean? I think it's like 15.
Oh, you're saying like in terms of impact, like
Yeah.
what age in
Exactly.
your youth would have
Biggest
the greatest,
impact.
biggest impact for you?
I'd say 15 or
That-
14.
I was gonna say like 15, 16. I was gonna say around.
It'd be
you.
better. It'd be better at 14, just because it'd give me like something to look forward to as far as like planning something out. But some
Yeah.
people, it's like if they could, change fucking dimes. If they could change a hat on a fucking dime, you know what I mean? At 16 years old, and they just switch their shit up. Because 16 is what, grade 11. Most
Yeah.
people that want to go to university, it's like they look at grade 10, 11, 12. So
Yeah.
it's like
That sounds old.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like, by that time you're kind of already knowing what you want to do.
That's true.
So generally, what would you tell just yourself? Because who you were in like grade, let's say grade 9, grade 10, like who you were, what would you tell yourself to like, better your future? If you had to say like one fucking thing, I'm not going to limit you to like a phrase or anything like that, but it has to just be something that it's not like too technical. It has to be something like that you could just say that would make sense
If
to
you
you.
had like 1 minute with this person.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Basically.
Fair.
I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say more than what I put up.
I mean, that's kind of that's a good
I
trait
have
to
something in mind.
No,
It's not
that,
because I have nothing.
that's also kind of a good trait to have.
Heck, you go first,
If
man.
yeah, sure. If I had 1 minute with, I want to say my 16-year-old self.
Heck likes to play it dangerously, bro.
What you talking about, man?
This guy, he'll just
Don't-
have the right amount of mustaches in the
I was
morning.
gonna say,
and
don't
he'll-
let the mustache fool you, my
bro,
friend.
he'll be slick. He doesn't care. He's cool under pressure and shit. His knees gets a little bit buckly when he's on the shrooms, but other than that, he's kind of coked out as well. So
all
it's
G, baby.
good.
Like, why am I gonna listen to you? You're coming at me from like a failed.
You think that's how you would think though, but that's
Yeah,
not,
no, that's what I'm kind of about.
Yeah,
I'm going about this from
about
like my
you.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always been skeptical. So I feel that my younger self would look at this like from a skeptical point of view too. They'd be like, well, what the like why am I gonna listen to this advice, even though it's from myself?
right.
It'd be like, okay, this is kind of weird.
Fuck
Um,
this guy.
Yeah, no, that's why if I were coming back, I'd be like, listen, what's about to come next is important. So stay tuned. That's the podcast.
Wait,
of me
what?
No. That's the podcast of me coming out. But what I tell him is, listen, you're
I thought
gonna
you
have.
told your younger self to stay tuned. That's your advice.
I know, right? No, that's not it. Well, you have a minute, right? So okay,
Dude, it's already been like 4
What kind
seconds.
of advice is that?
Dude, it's already been
If I was your
like
younger
2
self, I'd be
minutes.
no, I know, but I'm getting into it because we're talking about this. Right? I don't just have a minute's
I
worth
know,
of
I
advice
know,
for
I
my
know.
younger self. That's fucking insane. Like what?
mean,
Like I mean, Vic, if you think about this all the time, I guess fair enough. But like, I almost feel like I'm being put on the spot now because I don't have like a minute's
I
worth.
had some time to think about it.
Yeah, you guys did. I'm literally
That's the funny part. That's why going
Yeah.
first sucks.
a
Part of the
minute's worth
game,
of
bro.
advice.
You gotta take the L's.
I think I'd break it down like this.
You know, it almost makes you wonder what your older self would tell you right now.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely, because you're ghosting on what you want to say. Like
Be
I,
like, yo, just kill yourself as soon as you can.
it's all over.
It's all downhill from here, bro. High school was it. Saved you a little bit.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't agree with that. I would tell his younger self to let yourself enjoy all these things that are going to happen to you. So give yourself the time to actually enjoy the relationships you're gonna go through. Enjoy the failures you're gonna go through as well. As backwards as that sounds, almost
That sounds legit, man.
right.
It's a
And
journey.
allow yourself to have different opportunities in life. Like don't. I think the biggest piece of advice is don't get locked into one thing.
Yeah.
It's very easy to go through life and have wisdom from someone that you think is you respect and you all of a sudden you get a voice in your head that says, okay, I do that thing. But I would tell this younger self, listen, allow yourself to not just do that one thing, that one path. Try different things if you feel that you want to. Don't shut that out of your head, because when you're younger, like really, really young, like childlike, you allow yourself to have different things out of curiosity, because that's what drives life from a very young point of view. Is curiosity. That's all that is, because you have, when you're a child, you have no worries, you have no responsibilities.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. So the only thing that as a child, the only thing that's really driving you forward is curiosity and joy. Like it's very simple. So I would tell this slightly younger self, hey, listen, try and tap into that curiosity that you had from a very, very young age. Keep that with you, because that'll go far with all of your pursuits and relationships, professionally, in whatever you choose to do. In school, it's going to help you. With family, it'll help you with everything if you keep that curiosity with
Right.
you. That'll probably be like my 1 minute's piece of advice, because I feel like if I were to say, okay, do this, do
Yeah,
that.
it'd just be too. You got to go with one and done. Like you can't just spur and keep going, because then it just turns into like an essay, man.
Not only that, but
You run out.
I don't want it to be a sales pitch where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is your best chance at success in life or whatever. Like, do this, like,
Yeah.
because I want this younger self to have the freedom to choose.
Freedom to choose, exactly.
To do whatever that they want. And I think the advice that I would have anyway is to keep that curiosity with you as much as you can, and don't let that get squashed, I guess I would say,
Yeah.
by like shit that happens in life, because it really does.
We
man.
see it. Yeah, we see it now with people who had like one job from like right after high school to now.
Because I'm not talking just dreams, right? Because like dreams is like one thing, but just curiosity of life and curiosity of wanting to learn,
Possibilities.
it gets extinguished in people when they get denied, when they get told to not, when they just get basically made feel like a piece of shit, is when that curiosity for a lot of people just goes away. Because at work, that curiosity is going to go away if they get shut out on 100 different projects or whatever,
Right.
or every time that they speak out, they get shut down. It's going to eventually want them to say less.
Right.
And when they want to start saying less, they eventually start thinking of saying less. So that curiosity is going to start, go away in that aspect. So you see that already in people our age. People get kind of locked into whatever that they're doing, whether it's a career, relationship, or hobbies. Hopefully, if they have any, is that once that curiosity kind of starts going away, is when that you just start kind of dying. Is really what happens.
Pretty much. You gotta be like water, my friends. You gotta be like Bruce fucking Lee.
But anyways, enough of us. Dr. Evil, what would
yeah,
you
Dr. Evil.
have in
you
your
tell
little
us.
1 minute spiel to yourself? What would you try and abide? Are you going specific on this person or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather just do like 1 or 2 sentences tops, and then it's easier.
All right, so let's see.
What I was thinking about earlier, it boiled down to something like don't ask for advice.
Mm. That's interesting.
That's a good one.
Second would be a combination of maybe that. Don't ask for advice. Don't look for shortcuts. And then train yourself to be as independent of the outcome as you possibly can.
What do you
And
mean by that?
by that I mean every time you're doing something, focus only on the work and ignore the outcome.
Mm.
Kind of like rolling a dice. But imagine that there's a skill to rolling the actual dice, but you don't worry about what the roll comes up as because, you might work on something for a long time and there's going to be 100 different elements in it that you can't control, so you only focus on the part that you can.
Mm.
And I think it's easy to sort of say that, but in practice, depending on what you're doing, it can be
No,
pretty hard to apply.
it does make sense.
No, it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
So maybe those three things. But yeah, keep in mind I'm doing sort of science stuff here, so that it's more related to that. Because
Yeah, but flip of a dice,
I worked
dude.
on that
You
project
could.
for like 4 years.
Yeah.
True, and you have to remember that you're
Dead
kind
end
of
wall,
you're
nothing.
going back to your 15, 16-year-old self who probably did not have any of what you're doing
and you
right
could
now in
apply
mind.
to other stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is, I actually have insight because I don't know how well you guys remember yours of what you said like 4 years ago,
Oh,
but basically,
did you look up? Did you
Dude.
pull it up?
yeah, basically,
What I said?
No.
Hector's shit.
We've already run this exercise before.
We've
like
run this
4 years ago.
exercise like in Pornoholics.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, let's hear it.
So basically, Hector's was like exactly the same, dude. Word for word. He
That's
literally
Yeah,
said.
rock.
He literally said. He's like, I don't want a sales pitch. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
fine.
not gonna accept a sales pitch, which is funny because it's like, that's like okay. It's basically like interest rate on a house. If you could keep it stable for life, that's fucking huge. If you like have a stable mindset for a long ass time, 4
Yeah, it's
years
probably
to
gonna
have a
outlive us.
stable mindset. I mean, dude, you could pretty much foresee things in a certain way. You could be like, I'm gonna feel like this eventually.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, that's huge. Slick, Dr. Evil, you said you're like it has to be short. So you literally you kept it to 1 point, and it was basically like it was so general.
So it was the same thing,
No,
but like I mean the short aspect of it.
the short aspect,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But now the thing is, he's added the only thing that's interesting this time between now and then
Mm-hmm.
is like don't take anybody's advice. That's
Yeah,
something
I think that's new. That's new, right?
That's
That felt
new.
new to me.
that felt
Yeah,
new. Yeah.
I like
So
that one. That's a good one though.
That's a
That's
brilliant
good
one.
advice. Don't
That's
take
brilliant
advice.
one.
Yeah,
Oh no,
it's
don't ask.
counterintuitive,
Well, no,
but
it says don't
I
ask for
try.
advice.
I don't know if you noticed. I try to never give advice.
No, but hold
At
on.
least for the
There's
last while.
because you just said don't ask for advice.
Well, both. I try both. I try to not to give
I know.
advice. and
I guess
try not to take
this
it.
is sounding so weird now. I mean, your technically your advice to your younger self you just said was don't
Yeah,
ask
but
for
that
advice.
doesn't exist.
No, I know, but yeah, but while we're running this experiment, is what I'm saying is you're telling your younger self don't ask for advice. But what I just find interesting about that's not just canceling out the idea of taking advice at all. That just means don't ask for it. Like
Yeah.
Just
keep
don't look to
yeah,
people
like,
for help
do-
or
do what-
paths or any of that.
yeah, like
Don't
do
have
what you're
role
doing.
models.
Continue whatever your path of life is, but don't be looking for additional advice. Like if someone comes across your life and gives it to you for whatever reason, you move to a different country and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're doing whatever, you're hustling, doing something, and then someone generally good-hearted comes across and like helps you out for a night, and he just tells you some like quote unquote sage wisdom. You can still take that, like that's fine. But it's the idea of not having to ask for advice to get through and get on with life,
yeah,
which is really interesting.
there's a bit of a difference there. I know
Yeah.
what you mean. What did I say last time?
You kept it short. You're like be open to anything that's gonna happen. You're like just be open to things, trying new things. That's basically like the outline
Oh
of what
yeah,
you were gonna.
Tinker. No, that's fair. Tinker
Yeah.
was. I
Yeah.
had that in mind for a long time. And
Yeah.
I still do. I just
The only thing I would say, I'll keep it even shorter than all you guys. Okay,
Even shorter.
even shorter than both you motherfuckers.
All right, let's see.
All right,
I'm gonna time you, motherfucker.
ready?
Okay, go.
Don't get on the Sazuli.
Oh
That's
my
it.
fucking
Done.
God.
Done.
I bet you that's.
Don't get on the
oh my
Sazuli.
God. This guy's
Just
changed
keep away
before you-
from the Sazuli,
Oh, amazing.
and then hop on finasteride.
Christ.
That's
That's really. This is your advice to your 15-year-old self.
15-year-old self. Yep. Don't get on the Sazuli.
Dude, if I was your 15-year-old self, this guy, fuck.
You'd sidekick me.
Is this me in the future? Fucking kill me now.
This is terrible. But no, literally, if I had to,
All right, for real.
no. But that's I would say that for sure. But another thing I would say is like, the most ridiculous things when you think about it. Like as a kid, you're like, man, this is a cliche thing to do, and then eventually you start doing it later on.
Oh,
in
yeah,
life.
yeah.
For example, like making a podcast. This was an idea I had like when probably like 19, but you don't. I don't think I even was introduced.
Should have done it when you were 19. It would have been way bigger now.
I know. This is the thing.
Like, actually might have been big.
At 15, I wasn't even thinking about it.
Dude, at 15, that it didn't exist. Podcasting did not exist.
Did not exist. So it's like
There's no way you would have thought. I mean,
that's
if you thought about it then, that would have been really
but
cool.
At that rate, you're kind of just giving yourself $1 million ideas. But if I had to keep it broad, it would be like, don't think like the cliche jobs are like they're not like touchable. Like you can literally do anything you want to do as long as like you create the path to it. But yeah, I wanted to go to that. And then, dude, one more
What'd
thing.
you say last time?
Dude, I said some stupid shit. I was like, yo,
That's
fuck money, get bitches or some shit.
was it actually that
Yeah,
stupid?
bro, it was like stupid. And then Dr. Evil was like, oh, that's a waste. I was the first one. I was the first one. I was like,
oh yeah, like waste
Yeah.
opportunity. on
yeah.
advice.
He's just like,
Yeah,
oh, dude, wasted.
it's trash.
But yeah, going from that to this is like introspective advice kind of thing. We should call this segment like introspective
Yeah,
advice.
basically.
You know what's funny?
What?
I remember sitting with you at, I think we were at Red Robin's, where Save On used to be, and I asked you something like this. And we were probably 18 or 19 at the time, and you totally shut me down. You said, "Why the fuck are you thinking about that? It's useless. I can't talk to my older self." And I
Sounds like
agreed with you.
something
And then that was the last time I thought about it. And then when you asked me today, I was thinking like, "That's funny."
No, but we did go. We
Full
could
circle.
wait. Is this?
Wait, hold on. Say that again. Repeat that. That was gibberish to me.
No, it wasn't. But
Hold on. Let him say it again. Say it again. So we were in.
Yeah, so-
we already know the spot, but you asked me what? What did you ask me?
No, yeah, I asked you basically the same question that you just raised here, which is what would you tell yourself a couple years ago? But back then we were already 18 or 19, so we would
Right.
have been whatever 15 when we were envisioning this.
Yeah,
And you
dude.
said
I was
something
like a
"It's
shark,
fucking
dude.
waste of time."
Yeah.
No, you actually
was-
had a point.
I
You're
was
right.
balls
It's kinda
deep
like
into
a
dealing
practical way to
drugs.
think, and then
It was because listen, the thing with dealing drugs, it's like it's a numbers game. You slowly turn into a calculator. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, less drops, more flips. How can I get this done?
Sure.
Who orders the most? Shit like
I think
that.
that's what I kind of admired because you're just focused on the
Yeah.
current.
So it was just
Or
like it was
shit.
just like that. But as you grow, you get like different layers to you. You understand the world in a different way. It's kind of like you have certain glasses on and you take them off, or you put them on and you see things differently. So I think that way of thinking is effective, and having that in your arsenal is good. But it's also good to like be introspective and understand other people, because like you can get further in life. I've hit plateaus thinking in that initial way where it's like just go, no emotions. You hit plateaus. There's problems with the law, other shit like that. But like, if you have introspection, then you can kind of guide yourself through those fucking bullshit. But going from
What
that,
about future? You got any idea what future self would tell you right now?
right now it would basically be a mix between how I think the world is gonna be and what kind of hobbies I want to have. Like I was talking about it before. I always want to have a coffee shop, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest about it. It's gonna be a front. It's just gonna be a front,
Not the-
right?
I mean, if your future self has one sentence they could deliver to you right now, well, it wouldn't be about a coffee shop.
No, it would just be like,
Oh, it's a question. What do you think your future self is gonna be, or is it a question? What would your
What would
future
they say to
self
you?
say
Oh,
to you?
okay.
Chance to
what would they say to
advise
me?
you.
Would be like, get off the drugs, do everything productive only. Don't do anything has to do with sensationally feeling better, like drugs or any kind of things that women or whatever solely like think about. Software,
Transient pleasures.
yeah, any kind of transient pleasures. Just mind away from that for like 5 years. Do everything you need to do straight, no emotions. And like the thing with having no emotion thing, like you could literally take a spit in the face and like not really care because you're just focused on one thing. So that like having that's a fucking art, dude. Honestly, it's a fucking art. But some
Actually,
people,
this is like that IR stuff that I did for all those years.
Yes, I remember
yeah,
that.
it's a fucking art, dude. Honestly, it's like you gotta like literally take everything at face value of what you want to achieve. So it's like if it's not what you want to achieve, you don't get involved. Next thing, next thing. It's kind of like being on Bumble, bro. You don't like what you see, next thing, right? Swipe left.
Sure.
But yeah, going from that to talking about Bumble, what are some
That's
things?
funny though. Do you think you're applying these things?
I think
Some
to
of
the
them sounds like, some of them no.
to the rate. I don't think this is the thing. If you want to be realistic, to the rate that is the most efficient. Obviously, not none of us are. Like
No,
you might be closer to
It's
it
almost
than
like
us.
You know what's good for you, but
I see where this.
Exactly.
I see where
Yeah.
this exercise is going. Yeah.
So this
Victor already
is,
said it. But
yeah. So
but-
the cool thing about that is like being on shrooms, you actually like realize it even
a bit,
further.
yeah, a bit. Not only that, it's a bit easier to come to that conclusion.
Right. So it's like, why aren't you doing it? And the thing is like, I don't think that at this age, I don't think that the reasoning is not going to be crystal clear. But as much as I know, I don't think that achieving those things in 5 years is going to make any difference than me living my life and trying to achieve those things together. I think I'll enjoy it more if it's like, let's say, double the time, but at least I've lived my life until then. Because once you achieve those things, it's a piece of paper basically, or like a job or something. You know what I mean? You're still making money now. It's kind of
it's an
just like,
interesting thought experiment.
It is,
Beat
yeah.
yourself up
As soon as
if
Dr.
you were,
Evil asked, and you were like,
in the future.
I legit spaced out for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it for myself a bit. I'm like, wait a second. What
yeah,
the-
in what ways could you
Yeah, yeah.
disappoint yourself tremendously?
No,
really?
not just that, because like I started thinking about like
How do
what
you
my
avoid
answer
that?
was gonna be, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what would that older self? And then in the background, I was thinking to myself, okay, but then why aren't
Am
you
I still
doing?
gonna know these guys?
You know,
Yeah.
like, well, fair enough. And like that's kind of the point of this experiment is to it basically helps you identify what things would you see yourself being good for you in X many years,
yeah,
and are you working towards getting those things now?
yeah, and being realistic.
And if you're not, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Because it could be like you're not because it's not realistic right now or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, like you said, very
Or
interesting.
maybe you just have a moment of, or like an epiphany.
That too.
Maybe
Like,
this
like
is-
it is an epiphany moment, man. The exercise is cool because it is an epiphany moment, but also it's something that you knew back of your mind. Like we all know this. We're
yeah,
not.
It just brings it to the front a bit. There's
Yeah.
some things I'm
Yeah.
thinking about right now that bug me when I think.
it really is.
What
a cool
what
thought
are some
experiment.
things? What are some things that you think of? Like you don't have to go super personal.
No, I had
I'm
some.
not gonna go into that. Yeah.
I may as well just get them off since before I like forget them because mine's going like this right now.
Yeah.
But if I had like an older self coming back and be like whatever, probably I'm thinking it's gonna say explore the things that you think are gonna do well for you. So the home that you just purchased, that's a good thing. Keep investing into that. All the other ideas that you have in your head right now that you're not committing to, that you think will be good for you, do those things. So explore those other opportunities, whether you think it's further investing into real estate with additional properties,
Right.
or whether
right.
you think it's
options in general.
hobbies, like
Yeah.
the podcasting thing is one. There could be other hobbies that maybe you have started a bit but haven't really explored, and because this is your older self into now, because
Right.
ideally your older self already has
Already
these things,
has these
has already
things.
gone through these things,
Yeah.
right? From beginning to
Yeah.
end, or maybe it's already continuing in that future world.
This is a trip.
It
man.
is kind of
This is a
trippy,
trip.
right?
It
Because
is trippy.
I-
Dr. Evil, man,
'cause
you're the most sober tripster.
yeah, you
I
are.
know.
Because
I do these things all the time in my head.
No,
That's
but
part of the reason I'm-
what my friend
kind
here is
of,
trying to explain is that we are both currently under the influence of some
yeah, and you're sober as
shroom
fuck,
tech, and you're
puss.
Yeah.
and you're not
I
obviously,
ruminate on this stuff a lot.
but
Doesn't make me a super happy person though.
no, fair enough. But it's interesting because I'm thinking of both timelines at the same time.
Mm,
I'm thinking of where this person is. So, for
Yeah.
example, with real estate, I'm thinking, okay, where's my future self with regards to real estate? Is he having multiple properties that he's managing? Is that a successful avenue for him in life? What about the other things like the hobbies, the podcasting, photography,
mm.
other creative ventures? is that going well for him? Does he have a fucking full? It's just interesting to think
Right,
about in the
yeah.
sense, right? So yeah, and I guess the
It's
second part.
something. It's something cool to think about.
It
like
is,
in
for
a
sure.
sauna for like hours.
But then the second part clicks in where you're like, okay, you've identified these things. Now why? Wait, well, hold on. Are you working towards them?
yeah, or
And
not.
and if not, and if you're not, then why?
It's the second part that's
Yeah.
the most interesting.
It yeah, it definitely is because
Yeah.
now you've unconsciously identified what's truly important to
Yeah.
you without you asking yourself what's important to me. Like
Yeah.
you've done it in a kind of in a roundabout way,
Right.
and you've now actually brought it out. You're like, these are actually the things that I give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't have named them. So that's interesting. What Dr. Eel, without getting too specific into your life, if you can be as vague as you're comfortable as being, what does this experiment kind of yield for you?
What's the end product, son?
No, not only that, but I guess
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into. I find those are really kind of personal questions, so I would avoid that. But maybe if I did this 5 years ago, what I would have said would be something like, I'm very disappointed that you're not involved in a technical field, given that you have the capacity to do that well, and that you're wasting it in a sense by coasting and looking for shortcuts. And so that bugged me for a long time. That was part of the reason I switched.
That's interesting.
And that's in some way that was successful. It was mentally successful. It wasn't super successful financially or like stress is pretty bad. Just a lot of
sure,
downside.
yeah.
But I respect myself more, or I don't have less respect for myself. At least it didn't continue to get worse.
Well,
But
obviously,
yeah, it was
it's
going down a shitty path.
it's like it's fucking blue collar as fuck, right? It's something that doesn't pay more. It's just
It's
for
not
your
so
mind.
much about that. It's
No,
just,
I know, but it's not that it's what you
wasted
care
potential, it
about,
felt like.
what society is doing, but it's like what you hold close to what you think is important. So it could be anything. Jumping from that to like the experience that we've achieved, what are a couple things that like you've gained from the opposite sex, like just dating them, experience wise? What are some things?
Switch.
What?
Big lateral.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's a
no.
bit- it's-
But
it's-
it's a lateral, but it's supposed to be a big switch. That you would like, again, going back to like your younger self. Like let's say you're not as experienced as anybody, general, 14, 15, 16 years old, right? What do you tell them in order to be like, hey, look out for this or look out for this?
Holy.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's hard to say, but I think it's
So what?
almost
So
worth
you're,
it
so you're basically saying what relationship advice are you giving to your younger self?
to your younger self. Like
Yeah.
as far as like the opposite sex, like what would you look out for to do or not to do?
Yeah, sure. Just
Yeah.
I guess general advice from your older self to younger self.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, one school of thought is just let it happen. So let them learn the hard way.
Yeah, actually.
I don't know
Dude,
if
you
that's
can't
true.
have
I
you
don't think
can't
so.
have like you can't have super technical advice when it comes to fucking education in school and then just be like, yo,
Yeah,
he's
like,
gotta learn
you
on
know,
his own.
secrets, You gotta learn them.
I have a feeling our
He's just jealous, dude.
No,
He's
I don't think
jealous
it's not
of his
that.
younger self.
I think our friend here has very, as he has a detailed as an answer as he has for everything else for this, but he does. I don't think he just wants to get. He doesn't want to get into it on the podcast, which is fair. If you don't,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But I don't buy for a second that whatever advice
Not at all, bro.
is not going to be as detailed as
This
it was
motherfucker
earlier.
is calculated.
100%,
okay?
dude.
He's calculated to how he fucking combs his hair.
Especially what he knows now. If he could try and imbibe that in his younger self, are you,
Dude, he would be destroyed.
fuck yeah, you're doing that. Are
He'd
you
be
come
like,
on, man.
Yo, he'd be killing it.
Like he would. I think.
STD's the first month.
Yeah, sure. But I think you'd also trying to figure out like how would he even like just all the and this I guess into mine, but just all the time wasted. How do you
Hey,
remove
know
all
what's
that?
interesting?
Yeah, go.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
no.
remember, I don't know if I should bring her name up. This is the girl you dated, Hector. Remember, you said something about you painted the picture really clearly. I never saw this, but you said you guys were standing outside your car, and I suppose you're on either side of the car, and you said something to her along the lines of, "You expect your relationship to end, you just don't know when it's going to end."
I said this?
Or rather, you don't expect it to last forever, so you imply that it's going to end at some point.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay,
right?
that's
Do you remember what I'm
yeah,
referring
yeah,
to
yeah.
roughly?
I'm thinking. Wait, so you're telling me
that
that I said this to my girlfriend at the time, or I just
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
wow.
Jesus Christ, dude, you were
Implied-
you were a
implied that You
savage.
don't expect it to last forever.
Oh
Which
no,
is
okay.
Totally reasonable.
This sounds
But-
more familiar now.
Yeah,
I definitely, I did say this.
So
and I think they just crushed the other person. But part of me is saying, well, yeah, she's learning. I mean,
I think what it was
at
is
this stage in life.
I was at a place where I understood that whatever relationship that I was in was most likely not going to be my last relationship. Just like where I was in life, I was extremely young, and I already understood that, I'm 18, 19, 20, whatever. It's not likely that this is going to be the last relationship
no.
I'm either A, going to be in, or B, want to be in. Because even if it is the last relationship of my life, I'm probably going to want to have other relationships as I age.
Right.
So if I were to get locked in at 19,
Then you're fucked.
holy man, that's like,
This goes against what we always talked
Yeah.
about, man. Don't get locked in. Don't be a puss.
not just
It's
that,
hard,
but like at a
but
certain point in life, you might want that for yourself.
Yeah.
Fair. But that's not something that an
You
18-year-old
choose, yeah.
wants. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? An 18-year-old,
You want to go to
Jesus.
the deep end, bro.
yeah, there's no chance,
You wanna
man.
touch the fucking sea floor.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with getting into a relationship heavily, deeply, because
Yeah.
I was, especially from a young age. But you're going to want to see more,
Yeah.
especially when you're younger, man. You're going to
Yeah,
want
you want to get that out. While
Yeah,
you're young. You don't wanna do
exactly.
that later on. It's
Yeah.
not pretty.
So
That's not something I recommend though. Like if I had to tell myself, like as far as relationship wise, I'd be like, don't be as promiscuous, but
Or
don't
you
get
can be promiscuous. Just
don't get
when I
locked
say
in
it's
at
not
all.
pretty, I meant not because of me. I met a lot of people like this when I did lifeguarding. A lot of older dudes would come by and they
Right.
were very jaded about having spent so much of their youth with one person,
Yeah.
and then it ended in like a bitter divorce, or something
Sure.
like this.
Yep.
And now they're trying to be 18 at 41, and
Yeah.
that's what's not pretty.
Because I guess on the flip side of that is, if you go through your 20s, that youth of your life with these shorter lived, even though that they ended, but the shorter lived experiences that were all great, it's much easier looking back on that, being like, sure, I may not have had a relationship that was, like 5-10 years,
Right.
but all of those left me feeling great,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I look back on it.
Right.
Versus this, if you're like an older dude
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're
You
like,
won't have some fantasy about what that's like later
Yeah,
on because
yeah.
you'll have lived through it. And you know
exactly.
grass is greener, kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. At least
Fuck.
that's the idea. You'll probably still want it later on, but maybe not as much.
Yeah, fair. What?
Dude, the one thing I could honestly say is like don't even put that much respect on it initially. Like I would say from the ages of, when I started, I would say like 16, 17 to 25, you could just basically go with or without it. It won't really affect you that much generally in
So
the big sense of
you mean like time investment? Like what do you mean here?
like whether it's not going to make a difference on my success or anything other than just really it's basically just its own entity that doesn't affect anything.
Okay.
And if you try to invest too much time into it and it takes away from something, it's a waste of time. So I would say stay away from like relationships and just girl headache period from the ages of like 16 to 25. Just stay away from that, because it is a big component of getting locked into something that doesn't fucking matter. There's a foreseeable end to it. You guys are both still growing. You don't know what the fuck's going
dude,
on.
you just sound so old right now. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Hold on. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, man.
But imagine your younger self hearing this
Yeah.
shit. They're like, "Fuck you, boomer!" Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck do you? You know what I mean? Like, 100%.
No,
like,
no, I know.
Because that,
Imagine your older self
But
hearing
this is
this, gonna be
my
for sure,
reply.
yeah.
This is my
for
reply.
sure, yeah, old self's like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. So this is my reply to
Yeah.
that, right? Okay, boomer. It's like, but listen, you're thinking
What does
about
that mean? I hear people say that sometimes.
it. Just means like, yo, geezer, like you
Yeah,
old fuck,
yeah, you
like
old
you old
fuck.
fart. You know
Like,
what
all
I mean?
right, it's basically saying like you're
Means I'm old, don't even know what it means.
you're so like detached from reality. Like,
Yeah.
stay in
Stay
your
away from me.
Stay in your lane
Go
with
back
that
to the
old
senior
talk.
home.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. So what I would say to that is like, dude, you're just thinking about like the positives. For all the positives in a relationship, like the good percentage is literally like 20 to 30%. and then there's like 70% of a headache and time spent
Dude,
that
it's
you
so
could
hard to
waste.
see that though when you're younger. Like Jesus, 'cause
Oh,
you're
for
like
sure,
you're
for sure.
blasted with hormones.
For sure.
Like blasted.
For sure, but
Yeah, you
it's
tend to try
holy.
and just adapt to everything. I don't know if you noticed that. When you're younger, you just accept everything as normal or okay, and then later on, it's a filter. Very quickly, you'll
Yeah.
filter out people
you
based on.
yeah.
Yeah,
something
it's
like
yeah, yeah,
hobbies,
that's true.
everything.
Yes, yeah,
You
yeah.
realize like, oh, this is that kind of person.
But
Yeah.
That
but
person
it's
to be avoided.
the
nuts,
thing- the th-
stupid.
the
whatever.
thing that's cool is that it's like we can all agree across the board that it's
Agree
agree
across the board. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that like you have to like basically it doesn't really matter. Like I've seen both of you in relationships, and the thing is like the
You actually haven't. No,
actually I have
no, you haven't.
yeah.
I didn't fuck with you back when I
Well,
had
dude,
when I was in my
knew.
relationships.
Regardless, anyway.
I'm saying like
I
I didn't.
now know.
That's what
I've
I'm saying.
seen it.
You didn't, so you wouldn't have seen me actually.
Okay, fine.
I'm about.
Okay, Batman. I
No,
didn't
I'm
know
not
your
saying that
fucking
bad. I'm
identity.
just saying like we just didn't interact back
Yeah.
in the day, right?
Sure.
Because like now, all the time you've known me is like
a year, maybe. If
what,
not,
what I want to
2
say is like
years.
I'm the bachelor out here.
you're not
Yeah.
a bachelor, but just I'm not in a relationship. Is when
Right.
when you've known me really.
Right. Yeah. So I'd just be like, what I saw from you guys is like whatever relationship you guys were in a third way. So I'm not saying like what you guys felt, but I'm saying like how I saw it was like you could have been in that relationship or you couldn't have, and it wouldn't have really made or broken you in any way. Like it's just basically time spent. Are you okay spending this knowing that it's gonna end? Like whatever relationship you're in from
Yes,
that
actually,
age
yeah.
is gonna end eventually.
No, but I would say yes to
Yeah.
that answer.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah,
still
it's
worthwhile.
still worthwhile, even though if it's
So
gonna end.
for you guys,
Yeah.
for me, no.
What do you think is gonna last?
I would say if I
Really?
knew that at that age, I would probably
I think it
avoid.
really I think it really depends on how much time you're investing into this, and how much with that avoid. No, because okay, I'll give you a really simple example.
Yeah.
You know that for yourself, you just have to. You got to run the park.
Mhm.
You have to literally run the park to like, as part of your activity. Just
right.
do that alone, or do that with someone you actually would want to be around. Pick one.
I'd probably do it alone
Why?
because I can focus.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, if somebody's with you, I can't.
No,
Let-
man, I know you. It sounds like nonsense.
Yeah.
No,
First of
bro.
all,
2
yeah,
weeks later, you're gonna be.
I agree with I agree
get
with
it.
I agree with Dr. Yule here.
I'm the same.
But
Remember I
I'm
told
not
you
getting
guys
into
off.
this. But
Yeah.
But I want because I wanna break into your bullshit.
You
real
want to
quickly.
break into the
Yeah, I know,
to
'cause
what
you're-
I think I am.
No,
but what
not just
what
that.
you guys see at me as.
If I see bullshit, I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it out. So that whole like
Okay.
focus, that's bullshit. Because I'm not saying that you being with this person running in the park is gonna distract you. I'm just saying you like this person, or do you want to do it alone? The focus
Hold
is the
on.
same.
Hold on.
Focus is the same.
This is on the contrary. Actually, it's the focus wouldn't be the same. I guarantee you this.
I'm
Because
telling you that the focus is the same.
how do you know this?
I'm just telling. These are scenarios I'm
Okay,
giving you.
Okay.
This focus is the
Okay,
same.
okay, alright.
You will still get the same
Yeah, of course.
5-minute
yeah.
lap time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like your
yeah,
lap
yeah.
time's the same.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
But one you're alone and one you're.
Right. Okay.
So which do you pick?
Obviously.
That's what I'm saying. So if you in these relationships that you're investing time in, if it's to the point where you can say to yourself, because what did you just say earlier? That's actually a really, really good question. You're like, knowing that it's going to end, would you still do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you can, as a person, answer that
It's a
for
good
yourself.
question for life, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can say yes to that, at 100%, just do it.
Yeah. I would say no to that. That's the thing. For a lot of them,
Yeah. Well, no, fair. But there are some cases where
you would say yes.
yeah, well, it's also not just back to like general relationship advice. It's like how much time are you investing into this? If it's to the point where it's not bleeding in and distracting all aspects of your life, because that is unhealthy.
Yeah.
If all of a
That's
sudden,
toxic.
exactly, all of a sudden you can't fucking focus on work, you can't
Yeah.
fucking focus on
School.
your hobbies, like the
Yeah.
things that you want for you, and it's taking up literal chunks of your time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now you got a problem.
Stay away from
But
that.
if it's more of okay, are you going to watch the TV alone,
Right.
or are you gonna watch it with somebody? That's not time wasted because you were gonna watch TV regardless.
Yeah,
You
but
were gonna
that's-
spend an hour. No. So
Hold
hear me
on.
out. You were gonna spend an hour of your time
Yeah.
watching TV. That's already a distraction. So, but you're just gonna do it. Like that was just you and like your 24 hours of your life. You were gonna watch
This
TV.
makes sense if these activities that you're picking are actual things that I do. But this is the thing. It's like in the scenario, there's lots of activities
Mhm.
that you do as a couple that you wouldn't do if you're
Sure,
single.
sure. And there will be
You're more task oriented single. You just are.
no fair, but like you're taking it to the extreme. You're basically bringing it to a point where you can just say no and just say that this whole thing is a waste of time.
It's not. No.
You
that's
already
not what I'm
have that
saying.
in mind. No, because you already said it.
Yeah.
You already said it multiple times here. So don't try and like back out of it now. That's fine. That's your opinion. You if you feel that your relationship's a waste of time, okay.
No. I just think
fair.
it's a waste to have any kind of thing that if it's not like okay. There's two sides of the coin. You guys obviously
The other thing is
had
I didn't
ones-
actually finish my point here.
Hold on.
I do have a point. And you haven't let me finish.
I'll let you finish it right after this. So there's the ones where you guys were where it didn't take away that much from your life, and then there's other ones where it's like super toxic.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking. We're basically saying the same thing. I'm just talking about the ones that are like super toxic that it takes away from everything else, and you slowly see yourself decline.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
We're saying the same shit, dude.
If that's
This
what
guy's
you're
acting like I'm coming from a different school of thought or some shit. Continue.
yeah,
because
you were trying. No.
Get the fuck
Fuck
outta
you. No.
here.
Fuck
This
that.
guy
You
trying
were
to be
trying to
all
weasel into that
fucking,
shit.
Like
You just came
fucking-
back because you the whole time you're like,
Get
it's
the
no.
fuck
We have it
outta
recorded,
here.
so we can fucking
No,
rewind.
Dog,
You
it wasn't
said it
even
was a
like
waste
that.
of time.
No. I said don't. If it's if
No,
it's
you
something
didn't say
that,
if. You did
no,
not
no,
say
this
if.
Is, I'm not saying if. What I'm saying is, when you see that it's affecting you.
You're saying this now, and I agree with you. But that's not what you were saying earlier. That's
But
not what you were saying earlier.
I'm only saying that because it was for me, and I feel like you guys would ask your older self or whatever and say like, oh, why? I wouldn't. I'd probably just be just on the sake of somebody telling me
Mhm.
what they thought and why. I would pretty much consider what they're saying. Like I would consider the fact that okay, this guy's honestly coming from one side. Why would he give me such direct?
No, you know why?
advice?
Because that the initial advice that you were given to that younger self
Mm.
was, and I even said this is good advice, but then I also said this is basically parent talk.
yeah,
It's good advice, so like parents don't give bad. I mean, sometimes they do, but parents give good advice. But it sounded like parental advice.
it's slowly justified though.
No,
like,
no,
in
and
a
I'm
different
listen.
way.
We're not.
Yeah.
Don't
That aside.
don't try and defend it because
Yeah.
I'm actually in agreement with it. I think it's good advice. But I'm saying is, if you put yourself in that young mindset,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like.
Dude,
It
I'm
just
so lost at
yeah,
this point.
it just
Yeah.
sounds like an older person telling
Yeah.
them, do this, do that, do that. So if you're saying right now that your younger self will just take all of that advice and say, okay, sure,
No, I didn't say okay, but they would consider it much more openly than I think you guys would, because I think you guys would question it. I think at my age, I even remember at times where like people told me certain
Mhm.
things,
yeah,
and I legit considered what they said and like saw, because I didn't have permanent beliefs. Like I was open to new things, right? Because like even dealing drugs, like I picked it up from learning it from older people that taught me how to do it. Otherwise, I would have slipped up a lot easier. Like you see all these like little guys that do them themselves. It's like it's super sloppy.
yeah.
So that is something I have that I think is just because I didn't have enough confidence to like actually think what I knew was enough. Pretty much the opposite of Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil wouldn't take anybody's advice. I almost considered everybody's advice.
No, I did. That was the problem.
So that's
So
the
many
thing. Yeah, I
Wasted
considered.
efforts.
I don't think it's bad though. I think it's part of growth. But I think if you're gonna like foresee a future for yourself that you're gonna pick now, you would give specific advice. But if you can't give specific advice, you would just be super general in your advice. Like what the fuck could you possibly say? Be like, okay, well, go pick the Lotto 6049.
Now
from
we're just
Maple
going
Ridge.
back to the other one. Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
But it's,
So
the,
it's
the,
like-
the relationship one was
Here's the
interesting.
piece. I'd say, because you keep saying I'm calculating, I'd say that's like one area of life where you don't want to be too systematic. Just,
Yeah.
kind of enjoy it while you can. It's one of the
Mhm.
things that makes it worthwhile to be alive.
Yeah, the guessing.
That's actually really good though. What you, I
Yeah.
really like what you said earlier about you're like if you're getting into it knowing that it was gonna end, would you still do it? That's really good advice to have carry forward.
Yeah, because a lot of people think it's just like something's forever at that age. It's like nothing's forever. That thing's super short-lived. Those years are so short-lived. It's like if recalling what it was, it felt like a different life week to week.
Well, it's because the other side to that too is
It's 10 years ago.
a
son.
lot of people
Basically,
have the
No, but now it's like more stable. Like everything as you age is
well, it's
more
because a lot of people also have the association that as soon as something's gonna end, it's bad.
No, it's just more.
No, well,
Yeah.
okay, listen. I'm
No,
saying
I
a
know,
lot
I
of
know,
people
I know.
phrase it that way. People are gonna just assume that it's bad, but if you actually think about it for a sec, that doesn't actually. It's not supposed. It's not neither good nor bad. It's just a good thought experiment to have.
Anyways, Dr. Evil, thanks for coming on and telling us your fucking ideas. Dude, some of this shit was actually pretty introspective.
It
Like,
was.
he just came
Oh,
out
I got more
sober.
if you want. Yeah.
Dude,
That was
more.
good. That was
Save
good.
that. Save that for next time. Save that for next time. Thanks,
Alright.
man. We'll hit you up
Yeah.
later. Bye.
Take care, bro.
Sounds good.
Fuck, dude.
That was a good one.
That was a good
That
one.
was a fucking hour, bro.
That was a fucking hour. We gotta do one more. We gotta do
Christ.
one more after this.
Do I have the stamina in me? I do,
We
because I'm
do.
still coming off these things, man.
Dude, I'm still like halfway on, but like I think I need more weed. That's what I think I need. You got some beats for me, or what's the deal?
Dude,
Dude,
I
what's
want to
the
do it
deal?
again. I want to do it again.
Dude, give me some
Trap
good deals.
Mozart.
Come on, man. Hit
Tell
me
me,
up
man, some
with
of this
that.
was good.
I want to give a quick shout out to Stems Chocolates. They are a professional chocolate growing company. What would you say?
Is it on?
It
I-
is.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
What would you say?
About
How would you describe Stem Chocolates to your like?
it's fucking great. Listen,
Yeah,
I use them for microdosing. We've obviously macrodosed with
dude,
it,
we've macrodosed the fuck out of it.
but from microdosing perspective, it's amazing. Like I actually, I've legit done that where it's like, you know,
Clarity.
it's more active. It's more mental activity is what it is, and that can be good or bad depending on what your state is going into it. But there are times when it's needed, and it's the other thing that's actually great about them is that it's consistent. I think that was one of the first things that you said about them.
Yeah,
Is that they were very
consistency is key.
consistent,
Yeah,
right?
because
sometimes you get into
yeah.
these things, you don't, might be sometimes maybe good, maybe shit, but
listen,
this is
yeah,
consistently good.
when you're a vet psychedelic taker, I wouldn't consider myself that, but I would say that if you want to be, you'd want to have a drug or a psychedelic that you could depend on over and over again. And Hector's Beats is something we can't depend on.
Sorry, bro.
All right.
Sorry, bro.
But all I'm saying is like it's cool that you can depend on it. And what I noticed is like at a small dose, you're very focused. At a very high dose, what it does for me is makes me super introspective on like myself even.
Yeah.
Things I could do a U-turn when before I couldn't do. Like it's like a one-way street when you're sober, and then suddenly you're 500 600 milligrams into it, and then you realize like, wow, these were the answers to my life, and this whole time I was holding back on it.
That's a proper trip.
That's a
what
proper
that's
trip.
that is actually.
Yeah, that's a
But
proper trip.
just in general, these guys are
Bump that for me, man.
sure. These guys are solid in
Yeah.
terms of service and everything, but I don't want to make this plug too long because we're getting into it. But they're reliable, they're dependable. Give them a follow. Stem Chocolates.
And stemchocolates.com.
That's right.
Peace.